Hey, beautiful people. My name is Meredith Buba for those who are new here, and for the returning subscribers, thank you so much for being here. I know I've been gone a while. Life, guys, life has been updating, but there's a couple of things that are lined up. So I hope you'll subscribe and stay here because there's so much goodness where this is gonna come from. The reason I wanted to upload this video and get it out of the way already is because for the most time when I go live on TikTok, which if you don't follow me on TikTok, please find my TikTok. It's Sugar number one. Um, I go live there as often as possible, and a lot of people ask about my tattoos and my tattoo tour. So this is a updated tattoo tour. Updated because I'm yet to get more tattoos. My last tattoo that I got was in April 17th, and I've not been able to get any between that time period and now. But now that my surgery is already done, there's more tattoos that are planned even for my tummy to decorate my scars and all that kind of stuff, which is a video which that is an update that will come in my update video next. But for today, we do the tattoo tour. Now, in total, I have 16 tattoos. I'll start and then I keep on going and going and going. One of my tattoos is this. It's an equal sign. It's very tiny. It's a smaller sister to this one, this big equal sign. Um, this tattoo, I was like, if I'm putting on something that you can't see this, I need to have this. Also, it was just for vibes and inshallah. I didn't even pay for this one, I think. My tattoo guy just said, don't worry, I got you. And he got it done there. This equal sign is a lot of my passion. And if you're catching the noise, I'm sorry, I have a mic, but I will never know if it's canceling all the noise. If you're catching it, I'm truly, 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 truly sorry. Um, the equal sign, because if you know me, I'm a human rights activist, I'm a black, queer, radical, angry, intersectional feminist. And so the two lines are basically to highlight what I do. Human rights activists, people who believe in human rights, people who believe in equality, people who believe in equality as a real thing, because apparently a lot of you don't think equality is a thing. Equality is a thing. And hey, equality does not mean women wanting to become like men or women wanting to become men. Hell to the fuck no. In fact, men can never be a standard, but don't get started with me. I'm a feminist, so I can go all day doing this. Equality is basically saying if men have a playing field that favors them all the time, women deserve a playing field that favors them all the time. We can figure out what favoring women looks like, can figure out what makes the life of women easier, and then provide women with that so that a fair playing field looks like where men can get all they need to thrive and women can get all they need to thrive. That's the kind of equality we're fighting for. Anywho, my third tattoo is this one here. This here and here. It's one tattoo. It is like a splash, and the idea behind it was to emphasize the statement "lessons, not mistakes." Now, when I came out back in 2018, and I got thrown out of the house, and I went through so many challenges. For a period there, I blamed myself. I was blamed, so I took the blame on myself, and I started blaming myself and saying, I deserve to be treated that way because how dare I be a lesbian and all that kind of stuff. And this tattoo marked an end of that era of me blaming myself because I got this tattoo in 2018. And when I was getting it, I was essentially putting a mark to remind me that it was a lesson. Coming out was a lesson. Not only did I learn that people want you to box yourself, but I also learned just because people give back to you, just because people are your parents, doesn't mean they'll always have your best interest at heart. And now that I was grown, because I was really a grown up, um, I know better what I deserve and what I want out of life. And if I'm gonna surround myself with people, it had better be people who actually have my best interest in their hearts. And if that's not the case, regardless of who you are, you don't get to have a front seat in my life. So this was a very revolutionary tattoo for me because it was a big turning point for me. And then another tattoo that I have is this. This I will do it together with this. Why I'm doing them together is because I got them together. This one is a heart, is an eye, an evil eye of some sort, and veins. The reason I put the eye here is under the veins. First of all, you know about this, and then you know about these other veins. These are roots. These are not veins. Even these ones are more roots than veins. And I think All of them highlight the interconnected nature of all my life experiences and struggles. But the eye is a reminder. For many, many years, I grew up in an environment where I was not seen, I was not honored, I was not respected for the fact that I'm a human being. And I know a lot of us can relate with this. And this I was a reminder to not only see myself always, to not always remember that I'm valuable as a human being, but also to see others because I am a human being. I am not a utopia in essence. I'm an island. I'm not an island in essence. And I need people in my life. And for as long as I live, I want to be very intentional about having people in my life who see me. And so this tattoo really highlights that to be seen in a way that is life giving, hence the roots. Okay, roots equal life. There's roots and there's clouds. Clouds are a pregnancy for rain, right? When there's clouds, it's about to rain, especially when there's that heavy clouds and all that. And so all this to insinuate, you need people who look at you in a way that is fulfilling, in a way that sees beautiful things in you and all that kind of stuff. And I know that comes with a lot of responsibility on me, even as a human being, to be a kind human, to be a good human, and all that kind of stuff. And I put a lot of effort to be that all the time. So inherently, I deserve in a world that we spend so much time being hateful, being mean, being unkind to people, we can be good people and then we can be good to people. And that way we can create a fountain of a world where human beings are just good creatures. Yeah. So that's that tattoo. And then this one, it has a lotus and a music note. Lotus because, and I have another tattoo, I'll highlight it, but because lotuses are very significant. There was a time I did a story asking, I did a post on Facebook asking some of my friends if I was a flower, what would I be? And a lot of people who know me would comment lotus, 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 lotus. It's when it sparked my interest to go read about the lotus flower, and then I realized lotus flowers bloom very well and they do very well in muddy waters and all that kind of stuff. And I realized it's connected to my journey as a person because I've had many of do-overs in life. I've had to rise from very heartbreaking situations and all that. And so this particular flower became very significant. And the fact that it can bloom on muddy waters is a reminder that I always be phoenixing, I always be remaining a champion regardless of how bad a situation is. I'm not saying I should always have that situation because, hey, I denounce that. But when they do come, am strong-hearted enough to be able to handle that. Plus, being a Scorpio helps a lot. So you heard. And then it has a music note because despite all the struggles that I've gone through, um, I've been able to have the support of music. Music, like rediscovering music, re-loving music. Like there are songs I loved, but through those struggles, I love them differently. Like they inspire me differently. A lot of songs have become those songs that when I hear, they remind me of the journeys that I've traveled and where I'm going and what I want and all that kind of stuff. And so a lotus and a music note to say I'll always bloom in bad situations, and music to say I have a perfect medium, a tool that carries me through that journey. And then we have which tattoo? We have a tattoo here. It's words. It's words, and the words read, "Give me mangasms by going down on my thoughts." It's as it is. I'm a conversationalist. I like building relationships and friendships through conversations. Why? Because I feel like through conversation you get to learn a lot about people. Not necessarily when you talk you learn, no. But it's through conversation that you get a real opportunity to dive deep into people you're interested in, whether it's their personalities, whether it's people you want to have as your friends, whether it's someone you want to, romantically get involved with and all that kind of stuff. It's a good conversation starter. And I love it because for the most part, especially with my very mind stimulating romantic escapades, it's always a good conversation starter because with these people we get to talk a lot about many, many, many things. And this heightens my ability to like them because I'm those ones you like calling sapiosexuals or wherever and you bash them, but I'm those ones. If you can't fuck me here, you can't fuck me anywhere. Be it in the kitchen counter, be it you can't fuck me nowhere. And I know I really did a deep on that, but hey, pun intended. If you can't fuck me here, you can fuck me anywhere. If you can't fuck me here, you don't get to have my coochie. What do you mean? So I'm grateful because it enhances the kinds of relationships I have. And yeah, yeah, we are going to go to the next tattoo, which is this tattoo here. The next tattoo we are going to speak about is this tattoo over here. It's definitely a compass, and then there's an anchor, but above it and not below it. So this one is normally it's very controversial to some people. People have many opinions about it, but here is mine and why I got it to begin with. Through the many journeys of life that I've traveled, um, I've had an issue feeling grounded and what that would look like for me. And I know for the most part, when you speak about being grounded, is like to many people, it's having your feet on the ground. And I think, but I think you know, it's okay if that's what a person believes in. However, I feel like there's very much pressure for people to be grounded in specific things, and that grounding should look like your feet on the ground and you being stable and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like the best way to be grounded is, which I like using, anchored in place of grounded. The best way to be anchored is to be anchored in things that you love, things that bring you joy, things that you appreciate, things that make your brain tick, make your heart beat, make your soul feel fed, right? And that can look like anything. Hence why I did the anchor here. Give yourself permission to be anchored into things that bring you joy. And by joy here, I don't mean false joy that you show people yet you're not feeling it. No. By joy here, I mean things that ultimately inform why you smile every day. Like every moment you smile, what is that one thing? Or what are those many things? And then also to break the rules. You don't have to be grounded or anchored in one thing. You can be grounded and anchored in so many things because we're human beings. We are multifaceted. We are supposed to be complicated, not in a bad way, but in a way that why should we be easy to figure out and straightforward like that? No, it can be complicated and that's okay. So that is the tattoo, and that's why I did the anchor here. That if you are anchored in things that people don't understand, it's fine if it feels like aloof and in the air. Who said you can be anchored? You can be anchored whatever it is that you want to be anchored at. Yes. And then the next tattoo, this lotus flower here. I told you you'll see a lot of lotus. For the same reason I got this lotus is the same reason I got this lotus. But this one I got when now I had just learned about lotuses. Okay, so this one is significant in that way, and you can see it has some embellishes. It is decorated. It has a floral aspect to it. Of course, it's a lotus and all that kind of stuff. And essentially, to always say, remember Mary Lee, to always look gorgeous while fighting the demons. And many people will tell you, I'm a big believer, regardless of where I am, regardless of what is happening in my life, regardless of the struggles I'm going through, I'll always show up as the best version of myself. Because why? I deserve that. I deserve to challenge every experience that I'm going through, especially the negative ones. And so I'll show up looking my best. I'll show up wearing the best smile in the world. And I will always remind this struggle that I'm in charge. And I'm the one who is controlling shit right now. So to remind myself of that always. That's what lotuses do to me. And because I've just done this lotus, I feel like it's only fair I do this lotus as well. This lotus is half lotus. This side here is lotus, and then this side here is a butterfly. And then here there's words. I am the reason. Butterfly, because butterflies also morph into many things because before they become their very last thing. And I believe that informs the journey of growth for me. I have moved into so many things. I've conquered so many struggles, and because of those struggles, I've become so many beautiful things of me. I've also had so many deaths of me. There's many things about me that have died that I no longer subscribe to, that I no longer abide to, that I no longer am, period, right? And so, hence the butterfly. And then the lotus, to always remember, it's not just transitioning, it's remembering to bloom during those periods that regardless of how tumultuous and aggressive the transition is, to remember to bloom, to remember to, show up and look amazing and great. So that's the second reason why I merged a butterfly and a lotus. And then I Am the Reason is a song by Kalam Scott. I am the reason. You are the reason. And I know it's supposed to be a love song. It's supposed to be anything you want it to be, really. And so the thing it is to me, it reminds me 2018 when I was deep in depression. It's when I had been thrown out of home. had gone through a very life-changing experience while I was homeless. I had been gang raped when I was at Uhuru Park, and the shape of my life was not shaping. My life was shapeless in that moment. And this song, in the midst of struggling with suicide and a number of suicide attempts, in the midst of being overwhelmed by life so much, in the midst of not knowing where to go, but in the midst of having zero support system in that moment, and I say zero not to mean I didn't have friends, but I didn't even know who to call friend in that moment. I had friends, I've confirmed over the years that these people belong in my life, but then I did not know anything about that. I was depressed all the time. I remember around September 16th is when I started my first therapy session, and I've been in therapy since. And so many things were happening. And so when all those things were happening, one of the songs that really held me, apart from Andra Day's I'll Rise Up, is Callum Scott's You Are the Reason. I had to remind myself that my voice is cracking a bit. But don't worry, it happens sometimes when I'm speaking about things that are a bit traumatic. But this song, You're the Reason, was a reminder. I don't know, something just clicked and it told me the reason you have to fight is you. You are the reason for fighting. Because I was struggling to find a reason to fight. I didn't, my life had no meaning, and I thought there's nothing I need to fight for anymore. I had given up on life completely. And that went on for a period of time. But at least one song that made me change the direction of my thoughts and how I felt about myself and how I started reclaiming my power. Forget that I have a tattoo that I've told you that I got that helped me stop blaming myself. I had stopped blaming myself, but I still felt like I had nothing to look forward to. And so by this time, by me writing I'm the reason, it was me holding on to the words. I am the reason, I'll always be the reason. And this song held me. I didn't get this tattoo that time. I got it much later. But for the longest, this song held me. For the longest, this song reminded me, Marylis, you're that bitch. Okay? And you're the reason that you're fighting. And every time you forget and you want to give up, I hope you remember you. Because that's all you have to remember. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone. It doesn't have to be significant according to people's definition. It just has to make sense to you. And since I started reminding myself of that, my life has been good. I've always remembered that every good I do for others is for me, and every do I good for me is for me. Everything I do is me attracting goodness for myself. And so to lead with kindness, to be kind to others and me, to be kind to the world, to be a safe person to myself and to other people, and all those things, all those journeys have been very rewarding in my life. So hence why a butterfly, a lotus, and a reminder that I, Marylis Biugwa, I am the reason. On to my next tattoo. This one here. This one I chose life, semicolon, and some sort of a butterfly. Semicolon, again, I'm glad we are speaking about this in September, Awareness Month. I got this tattoo on 26th of September 2023. And it's very significant as well. It's weird because 26 September 2018 is when I was able to get a house and move into it for the first time since I had been thrown out of home and had not planned it until after I got the tattoo is when I realized why am I so emotional after getting the tattoo, and then it clicked. Yeah, it had been many years. After 5 years, I think. Yeah, 5 years, I think, because this year we marked 7 years. And yeah, without telling the story, for a long time I was scared to have this tattoo because I felt like when I have it, it will make people uh, want to have conversations with me about suicide and everything. And I've always said, while I'm a very vocal person about mental health, I'm not a mental health advocate. Why? Because I feel like I'm still learning so much about myself with regards to my mental health journey, and I don't have capacity to carry on the burden of being a mental health advocate. Maybe me just speaking about it makes me a mental health advocate, but that doesn't mean I want to take up the responsibility to be one. I just want to focus on my healing and getting better and continuing to be the best version of myself. And this tattoo has helped when I see that. It reminds me of where I've come from, but more so, it helps me see where I'm going. Another tattoo that I want to speak about um, is I'm trying to say I don't want to leave any tattoo behind. It's this one, the inner tattoo. Because you can see I have the inner tattoo. It says Ubuntu, I am because you are. And the outer one is a ring of fire. So we'll speak about the inner one. Because much as they blend in very well together, they're two separate tattoos. I got the inner one first and then I got the outer one after. So the inner tattoo says Ubuntu, I am because you are, with this sign here. I'm a feminist, I'm an activist, I'm a big believer of the reason I am is because other people are as well. And I have to intentionally create environments where I protect other people, where I make it safe for other people and all that kind of stuff. Because I will always be the weakest link if I'm not doing okay, if I'm not treating people well, if I'm not a safe space, if I'm not all those things, then it means inherently I'm creating an unsafe world for myself. Because if I'm unsafe, then people will not want to be around me. And then if anyone wants to harm me, then they'll be able to have access to me. But also, if I'm unsafe, I'm harming other people. And if I'm harming other people, do I really belong to that ecosystem that I'm creating of safety and kindness and all that kind of stuff? And also the overall belief that I most of the time people wonder why are you fighting, especially people who are not human rights activists. Because I'm a big believer, I have it in me. Not everyone has it in them to be a human rights activist, surely. And so because I have it, what's the reason of me sitting with all this power that I have within me to be able to fight for not only myself, but for also for people that I get to share the world with, which is the biggest privilege life has ever given me, and my keen interest on people in general, that I get to experience this world here and now with all these people that I'm here with in this moment. I know there's 8 billion of us in the world, but I don't have to think so hard about it to realize that being in the world is such a beautiful thing. You get to experience people and their thoughts and their ideas. And even more, that I get to say I have friends, I have people I call family, I have people who feel like home. That is quite a huge thing to comprehend. And so Ubuntu is for me to realize whether my path has crossed with these people or not. I have to realize that every step I make is a step I should be able to make towards the safety of not only myself, but also the safety of the whole world, whatever that looks like. And so this reminds me of that Ubuntu, I am because you are, because we all are. And then the ring of fire. The ring of fire is just a reminder to keep the fire burning. It's always to say, may my life always be surrounded by this urge to be able to create a better world than I found it. Why that is important to me is because I've mentioned I've gone through so much experiences in my life that have made me become the professional shapeshifter that I am, but also become the beautiful, amazing human being that I've become. And so if I could have an opportunity to create a world remotely, even just for one person to be able to have a rather better human experience than I did, then I would do anything that I can to make that happen. And so to always keep that fire burning and to always remind myself why I do what I do and why my art X for that what I do. And then, do I have any tattoo at the back? No. I think for the most part I've done tattoos on this hand. Now to go to this one that are left. I've already done this, I've already done this. I've already done this. I have a hand here. One hand holding another hand. I got this one with one of my good friends, Win. I hope Win will get to bump into this video. I'll make them come watch it, and they'll be able to comment down there if I'm living up to the promise of this tattoo. But it's a hand holding another hand, and essentially, this tattoo means I'll always hold your hand, regardless of the circumstances, in good times, in bad times, in happy times, in sad times. I'll always hold my hand. I've always done my best, and I don't want to say I'm a perfect human being because I'm not, but I've always done my best to make sure I hold the hands of the people that I love. And Win is that person, is one of those people that we got tattoos together and made that pact together. And so yeah, I'm happy also to say I'm glad I get to experience true friendships like that. Friendships that are healing, friendships that are fulfilling, friendships that are very rewarding, friendships that make me more excited about life than I ever have been. And so, and because I don't have a biological family per se to rely on and to be this vulnerable and feel safe and protected and well cared for, my friendships have become that. My friendships have become family, have become a home, have become something that I can't live without. And I'm very glad that I get to experience that kind of love, that kind of love that is like feels like a fountain that never stops giving, a fountain from a river that never goes dry. I appreciate that. I love all my friends. If you're my friend and you get to see this video, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad and I'm so privileged that I get to experience you as a human being and then as my friend and then as my family. Oh my goodness. You don't understand how much valuable you are to me. And I can only be grateful for you and I can hope for many more years. Not too many because I don't like to imagine being very old and walking on a stick and still being alive. But hey, for the many years that I will be here, I would like to just think of the fact that I'm very privileged to experience you people. All of you. And Win, I love you and I love this tattoo because of you. And then we have this one here. As you can see, it's like a creature. It's a Scorpio because I'm a Scorpio. This is probably, to many people, or averagely, it is probably the most meaningless tattoo because I'm a Scorpio and I got a Scorpio. But also, it's meaningful because it's one of the earliest tattoos I got, and it has brought so much joy in my life. I feel like being a Scorpio and understanding astrology from the perspective of being a Scorpio and all that kind of stuff has really helped with how I journey through life and all that kind of stuff. And so you notice I'm moving a lot. It's because I've been standing for a while and I'm recovering from surgery. So I'm already feeling a bit tired and I need to sit. But hey, I'm about to be done. This Scorpio tattoo is essentially to tell people I'm a Scorpio. Okay? And that's that of that. Period. Any conversation we get to have, let's start with the fact that I'm a Scorpio. Yeah, and I love the fact that I'm a Scorpio. Oh, I love being a Scorpio, and our season is coming, and I'm a cusp Scorpio. I'm on the very first date of Scorpio season, which is 23rd of October. So I'm excited for that. Send some love you girls' way because hey, I'm excited for this particular birthday to be precise. And then we have this tattoo here. A good friend of mine who we got it together with, Tet High, calls it Marcus Marcus. And indeed, it is Marcus Marcus. It's Caesar, Caesaring, Caesaring, because I'm a lesbian and I'm a proud one. And I want people to see me from the front and be like, gorgeous, gorgeous girl. And then to see me from the back and be like, oh, and a lesbian too. Okay? So the gays, when you see me out there and you're wondering what's going on, if I turn and you see the tattoo, hey, that's a sign for you. That's a sign for you. And then what other tattoo is left? This one here. This one here, it's a feather, and then it circles around Asanini, and then it goes all the way up. These are birds. Where it circles around over here, they're birds. And then this is a feather, and then it's written Phoenix here. And the reason it's a Phoenix tattoo is a reminder to never forget the cycle, and it's a reminder to remember birds do fly, and sometimes their feathers fall off. When they fall off, it's not a bad thing. It's just a process to shed off dead weight and begin to grow more valuable weight and all that kind of stuff. Because the good thing about feathers is they grow back. And then to never stop flying because whenever you shed dead weight, you fly lighter, which means you fly higher and you fly farther. And so this is a continuous reminder to keep going. And Phoenix, because like I said, I'm a Scorpio. I've fought things that I've fought and I've risen and risen and risen. And one of the tattoos that I want to get on my beautiful back is a Phoenix. Uh, but yeah, to remind myself why I stay rising because I'm that human being and I love it here. I love that given an option, I wouldn't have to go through all that much pain to learn. But I love that out of the pain, I learned so much. And I've become a better human being, not only to myself, but to my friends, to the people that I love, to the people who choose me and I choose them. I've become a better person. I think that brings an end to my tattoo tour, essentially. And those are my tattoos. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Say what was your favorite tattoo to see. And I guess I'll see you in my next tattoo tour, which hopefully I would have gotten so many videos. But I'm gonna love you and leave you. And I'm going to do an updated, a life update soon